Hey!
Welcome to the Gitty Gang Show, everybody. Always remember to turn down your cell phones before going live on Facebook. That's my advice. I used to not give advice, now I give that. Well, we took last week off, as you may know, but we're back this week. We got a lot of great stuff to share with you. Got some clips from past shows. We got some offline stuff we've been working on. A bunch of whole new things coming up to show you and talk about. And of course, the big news is that a week from today, actually less than a week from today, the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival is kicking off. This coming Wednesday night it kicks off. So we're going to do a little sing, a little grinning and picking. You can't tell this one's grinning behind that mustache. Handlebars and training. Well, it's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CBG. This week. I'd like to say hello to Wayne Anderson out there and Matthew Simpson. Hey. We got Henry Loman. Henry! Our buddy Hank Loman out there. Daddy. Harold Stubbs III. Jimmy Circle was the first one into the comments on this fine day. Now, we had a stretch of pretty darn cold weather up here in the beautiful frozen state of New Hampshire. Seemed like 2 weeks straight it didn't get above freezing, and for a number of those it got below zero. But right now we're in the midst of a January thaw, and I gotta tell you, I'm loving it. How are you feeling about it?
I like the winter, period. So
he's a winter guy. Not as much. So yes, this first broadcast show of the new year, and with the first festival of 2018 coming up, the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival. This is the third year that we've done it down there. CBG is a big sponsor, the primary sponsor of the festival, and there's a lot of local in-kind sponsorships. Just this morning, Offbeat Magazine down there in New Orleans, which is kind of like the beating heart of the cultural scene down there. That magazine, Offbeat, has been around for a long time, and they always got the down low on all the good stuff going on. Well, they did a nice write-up. We've got a link. Hopefully we'll be able to share with you. Shane Spiel is not going to be on the broadcast today. He's out in his shed working busily because it is also warmed up down in Pennsylvania, and Shane's behind on his slides and guitars and all of that. So hopefully Nick will be able to throw a link or two out there, and if not, we'll do it afterwards. So anyway, New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival. The big news, of course, is that this year, who? Samantha Fish is headlining.
Just heard of her.
Yeah. First time. Hey, there she is. She's going to be the headliner Saturday night down there at the festival. Just before she goes on, Little Freddie King, blues legend, New Orleans blues legend, is going to be on. Before Little Freddie King, Shane Spiel and the Snakes, the whole darn band's going to be down there. Got April May and the June Bugs for the third year running are going to be there. They're headlining Friday night, I believe. John Nickel is coming back into town, going to put on his awesome one-man show up there.
He is awesome.
And just Cool Cat Charlie and a whole slew of others. It's going to be a heck of a time. It always is. And in case you didn't know, there is a fundraiser going right now for the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival. Now, you might remember last year we did kind of an emergency fundraiser right at the last minute because the other major sponsor backed out. And it was a do or die, let's save this festival thing. And you all came through amazing with your generosity. got the festival back on its feet for last year, and this year, this fundraiser is more of an ongoing thing, and something I feel pretty strongly about. Gitty, of course, is the major sponsor of the festival. I personally pitched in some funds to the fundraiser because that is the ongoing thing that will keep these sorts of festivals going. And not just the New Orleans Fest, all of them around the country and around the world really need the larger cigar box guitar community to pitch in, whether it's a few bucks, $1, whatever, to help make these happen, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of money to put together a good show, and it's getting harder and harder to do these music festivals. So if you appreciate this sort of thing, if you like the idea that these festivals are happening, if you like the videos, the live streams that we post from them, the videos we post after the fact, if that is of value to you, please consider popping on there and throwing a few bucks into the kitty, because it really is important to keeping these sorts of things going. I'm going to be down there too. It's going to be a good time.
I can't see the comments right now, but so I don't know who's out there. However, what I'm wondering is,
I can move this over to your side.
All right. I'll see this after the fact. Who out there right now is actually going to have a build of their own on stage at the New Orleans Festival? So I got to assume if John Nickel's going to be there, then maybe one of Rob's guitars,
Rob's going to be there.
Rob's going to be there, then that's awesome. I'm assuming Rob's guitars are going to be on stage. Anybody else's guitars? Do we know of anybody else's guitars or anything to that effect that'll be on stage?
Well, we're doing a builders contest again this year.
Okay.
So we're hoping. Last year, a lot of the builders who came brought builds with them.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm hoping. We're all hoping.
Well,
look at that.
All right. All right.
So we got some other good stuff for you today beyond the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival. We've been wicked busy here at CBG lately. I've been churning around doing a bunch of good stuff. Well, hopefully good stuff. Most of it hobo related, strangely enough. Here's a hobo fiddle I built at the end of last year. And just yesterday, I finally managed to get all of the bits together for starting to try to sell the hobo fiddles that I've been working on building out there. I've got one somewhere back here with my stool stuck on it.
Good to see you, George Gottsel. Thanks for the welcome, man.
So here's one. This one isn't yet on sale, but it soon will be. This is number 5. This is Cigar Box Hobo Fiddle number 5. I recently, actually what we're going to be playing a couple of songs from in a few minutes here. The Legend of the Hobo Fiddle book. It's part songbook, part history book, part memoir, part how-to. That comes with the hobo fiddles and posters. Put together a couple of posters, a hobo signs, all sorts of good stuff going on. But what I was supposed to tell you about right there is the new hurdy-gurdy kit. Why don't we do a song from this here Hobo Fiddle songbook, and then we can talk a little bit more. I know occasionally one of our fans out there will give us a gentle suggestion, the gentle guidance, the helpful guidance of shut up and play something.
Well,
so we always try to keep that in mind, don't we?
it's good to see you, William Edward White. I haven't seen you out there before. I haven't been around in a while either, but it's good to see you now. Ken Nolan and Rick Flink, always good to see you, sir. What are you playing there, Rock Island, you said?
Yeah.
Right.
This is an old song. A lot of you probably know it or have heard it. Lead Belly recorded it. I think Johnny Cash has done it. All sorts of bluegrass singers have done this one. The old Rock Island Line. You know me, I like train songs. Yeah, we're going to do this. It's in G. These are both tuned to open G. Glenn is playing a banjo. This is a banjo built out in the Gitty shop. Farley and Dale worked together on it. That's a natural hide head. It's starting to bust loose here on the side. All sorts of shenanigans going on. So
originally intended for 4 strings, now it's down to 3.
I converted her down to 3 because I wanted a 3-string open G banjo. Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line is a road to ride. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. It's cloudy in the west and it looks like rain. Bought me a ticket on a railroad train. Well, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Well, the Rock Island Line is a road to ride. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Well, if you wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. Well, I may be right and I may be wrong. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Well, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. The Rock Island Line is a road to ride. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station, Rock Island Line. Well, the hobo said before he died, catch that westbound for one more ride. Yeah, the Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. Oh, the Rock Island Line is the road to ride. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good road. If you wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. Well, if you wanna ride it, gotta ride it like you find it. Get your ticket at the station on the Rock Island Line. I changed the ending up a little bit there on Glenn Watt.
I like it.
So that, and that's the version of the song that's in the Hobo Fiddle, Legend of the Hobo Fiddle book here, which I went on sale yesterday. I wasn't going to sell it separately. It was only going to come with the Hobo Fiddle instruments, but changed my mind. And it's a simplified version. If you listen to versions on YouTube, you found one by an old skiffle band. Who was that? The Walkers?
The Walkers, I believe, yeah.
The Walkers. A lot of people. Nick Planciano.
Robert Manhart out there said he just bought number 3 for his brother.
Robert Manhart, you did indeed, and we thank you for that. It's going out today. You got your signed copy of the Hobo Fiddle book. You got your 2-piece Hobo Signs poster set. I laid all of these out in Adobe Illustrator. Laid all this out. These are actual, authentic, historic Hobo signs. They would mark these signs on fence posts and door jambs and water tanks along the railroad in a town to let other hobos and tramps know that, you know, it's a good place for a handout, or keep moving, there's too many tramps here already, or that it's not safe, or, you know, all the good stuff that a traveling person would need to know about a town when they first roll in.
It's a language. I think it's really cool that that's, you have a piece of history right there.
Secret signs and symbols. All right, back to the list here. Paul Davies out there, good to see you. Craig C. Hopkins. Dano Schultz, always good to see you, buddy. Happy New Year to all of you. Said he just cut down on his drinking for 2018 and donated the cost of a good 6-pack to the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival.
Rock on, brother.
Thank you, Dano. Thank you very much. We all appreciate that. I was joking with Glenn before the show that, you know, we could do a telethon. We could bring it up on the screen and be like, we're not done until... No, we're not going to do that. Jerry Lee Lewis died. Not Jerry Lee. Is that him? Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lee, he was the piano player, right? Yes. Great Balls of Fire. All right, so what I've been up to, I've already explained that. The Hobo Fiddle book released. The song selection, we're playing some of the songs from it. There's 20 different songs in here. Railroad songs, hobo-related songs, and then some that hobos probably would have played around the campfires along the railroad tracks. You know, the good old Americana songs like Camptown Races and Oh Susanna and Froggy Went A-Courtin', and, you know, all those good old songs like that. And then, of course, some of my favorite train songs, Midnight Special, Rock Island Line, Wabash Cannonball. And in this book, I also tell some stories of my own childhood growing up near the tracks, on the wrong side of the tracks. Most of the world would say. I like to say it was the right side, because I loved it down there. And another thing that happened this week, we're not just talking about stuff at CB Gitty here, but another great thing that's happened this week is our good friend Terry Mojo Johnson. He's the lead guitarist of the band The Swamp Drivers, and you probably have seen his videos on Facebook. A few of them have gone truly viral, millions of views, of him playing guitars made out of air cleaners and Harley Davidson crank cases and gearboxes, all sorts of stuff. Well, Terry built a guitar using one of Rachel Ray's frying pans, one of her signature line frying pans. Hey, there's one on screen. And he made a guitar out of it using a whole bunch of Gitty parts. You can see him on there. Well, he took a video of himself playing that and sent it into the Rachel Ray show, and saying, hey, I should be on your show. Look what I built out of one of your pans. And she loved it. And this past Monday, he went down to New York City, I think back in December, for the filming. Well, they aired the show on Monday. And we've got a link to the video here on the Cigar Box Nation page if you haven't seen it. He did a great job on there. It was a really nice segment on the Rachel Ray show. There's a picture of him with Rachel on there. He got a kiss from her. It was a really nice time. So we're proud of Terry. Good job, buddy, helping spread the word through the mass media about homemade instruments and such things. So, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Next, why don't we go to the bench organizer, Nick? This is one of the things I've been working on lately. Just listed it for sale. This is it comes as a kit. This one's put together, and you're about to see a video of me putting it together with some, not stop motion, but time-lapse sort of photography of this going together. No glue, no clamping required in this. It's all done with little machine screws and nuts that go into pre-cut slots, and makes for a really nice and strong and sturdy piece when you're done. So take a look at this. There's going to be a lot more coming down the pike from us here at CB Gitty of this style. Organizers for your workbench and your workshop, all sorts of good stuff to help, not just to help build the instruments. We're going to be expanding the line of instrument kits too, but this is the stuff that helps you organize and be more efficient at your building. So take a look at this video and then we'll be right back.
Well, I want to show you today how easy it is to put together this bench tool organizer that we've designed here at CB Gitty. This is designed with an innovative screw and tab system of joinery that really doesn't require any glue. I mean, you can still glue it if you want to, but you don't have to. Here's what the kit comes with. It's your top piece, which is where all of the tools go. Then you got your backing plate, a couple of braces, and then an additional brace here. So just to show you briefly how it goes together. The top tabs into the back, and then these side braces, or the under braces as they're called in the how-to guide, go in there. All of the holes and everything match up. And then you get that second one in there, everything tabs in place. And then this cross brace here, turn this so you can see, it goes right in here to give a little extra support and strength. So all of these tabs here, oh, and the other part of the kit here are the little machine screws and nuts that hold it all together. The tabs that are cut in the pieces are precisely sized so that these little machine screw nuts will go right in, and they'll kind of stay there through friction. They will pop out if jostled too much. But the reason I sized them almost exactly to the size of the nuts is so that you could load a piece with the nuts before putting it in place, because once you've got it, like to try to get one of the nuts into this little hole down here once it's in place can be tricky. It's doable though, and you might find as you're going that you have to do a couple that way. So I'm going to go ahead and get the nuts added here into these braces and put those on first. I'm going to attach everything, I believe, to the top plate first and then bring the backing plate in. So I've put this machine screw down through the surface of the top panel, and it's going to match up with these nuts that are here on this brace. Now, these are flat top screws that are meant for being in a countersunk hole, but the good thing about this method is once you get it started, it'll self-countersink, and it'll pull that head down into the wood, making it flush. Now, you might have to push down pretty good with your number 1 or number 2 tip screwdriver to get it started into the nut, and I was holding that nut in place with my fingers as I'm getting it started. So I tighten that right down, and take a look there. The head of that screw went right down in level with the surface of the wood, and that also gives you an idea of how tight to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this finished up, get all these screws in, and then show you the next part. Now that those under braces are attached, I'm going to go ahead and put this cross brace on. You can see there are holes in these end braces and then one hole in the top plate underneath here. And this piece just slides right in there, matches up real nice and smooth. And it's going to help make this even sturdier. Now before I put that in, I put my nuts in place, and then I'll be putting in some screws. Now it's time to put the backing plate on. So I'm going to match these slots here up with the tabs on the back of the top plate. You might have to flex the wood a little bit. Sometimes this plywood will get a little warp to it, but one of the beauties of this design is that everything can only go one way. So any warp should automatically be pulled out of it while you're assembling. Now I neglected to put in some of the nuts here before attaching that. I could take it off, but I'm going to show you that it's possible to get these in there. I'm going to get these nuts into these little slots here once it's already assembled. It is trickier, but possible. So it's attached to the back. Now I've just got 3 more here to really firmly attach this backing piece to the top plate. I'm going to get those in. You shouldn't need any sort of pliers or wrenches or anything to hold these nuts. The way that the slots are sized should keep them from spinning as you tighten the screw. You may find one that kind of wants to cross thread or something that you need to grasp with some pliers, but 99% of the time you shouldn't need to. It's a big help when you're doing this if you're putting the nuts into the slots after the pieces are together. If you keep one finger underneath, see I've got my finger underneath here, and then I'm slipping this in through the top so it can't go all the way through and fall out, because these nuts really enjoy falling to the ground and being lost. Oh, it is now fully assembled and very nice and sturdy. No glue was used. It's just using the nuts and screws and friction joints, but it should stand up to, even full of tools. I have one out on my bench that's full of tools, and it's standing up to it very well. We have some mounting screw holes through the backing plate here that you can use to screw this to a wall or your workbench, or you can make your own holes wherever you need to. A couple of pieces of advice. Losing these little screws and nuts is very frustrating. If you have an old cookie sheet that you can build this in, just in case if one drops, it's going to be caught. That's good advice. Just don't grab the best one out of your kitchen, or you might get in trouble with the chef. Other than that, any sanding that you want to do to smooth any edges should be done before you assemble it. Sand the pieces. The outer veneers on this plywood are thin, so don't over sand it. Round the edges. Once it's together, you could stain it, you could spray it, paint it, whatever you want to do. So a quick, handy kit for organizing your workbench and your workshop, available now from CB Gitty, made and designed here in the USA. Thank you for watching.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that short video. I enjoyed seeing how fast I can go when magically sped up in post-production. But seriously, putting that together only takes about 10 minutes of serious effort. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now, while that video was going, we were looking at the comments. I saw Chris Beatty ask, do we sell the banjos? No. These were some prototypes that we did a couple of years ago and have not done anything more with. So they hang here in the Gitty Juke Shack and we play them on occasion. But thanks for asking. I saw Matthew Simpson out there talking about adding a Psycho Knob distortion board to our new hurdy-gurdy kit. I don't know if you've seen this, but we found this awesome hurdy-gurdy kit. If you don't know what a hurdy-gurdy is, it's basically a musical machine where you turn a crank that makes a rosined wheel spin touching a string or strings, which then resonate kind of like a violin bow would make them resonate, and it just sounds like few other things ever have. Well, Matthew, of course, wants to take one and put a distortion board in it, and I'm still not sure the world is ready for the sound that would be produced, but God bless you, Matthew, for giving it a try. We have these available. They're currently on a 3-day pre-order. We're going to have more in Tuesday. So they're an awesome kit, very well made, really amazing looking. I don't know how well you can see it, but just the artistic appearance of what you end up building is pretty cool. And it makes music as well. I mean, finding this kit and being able to offer it is something I'm pretty darn happy about. And I'm hoping to find the time soon to put one together myself. It takes a good few hours of effort to put together. Another new kit we've gotten is this awesome steam locomotive and tender kit that you build to make a model. I think it's around O gauge or O scale, 1 to 32. And it actually moves. There's some rubber bands in it, and they wind up, and it will make that thing go up towards of like 15 or 25 feet or so. So this is another one I want to be building. Now this obviously is not a musical instrument. This is a toy, it's a model, whatever you want to call it. Trying to branch out a little bit with the kits that we offer, both the ones made in-house and ones I'm bringing in from other manufacturers, because I know that folks that like building instruments, sometimes you need a break from guitar, something a little different, some fun stuff like this that you might even be able to get some nieces or nephews or sons or daughters, grandkids interested in. I think it's a good thing. So Shane Spiel wants to get one of these locomotive kits and wood burn it. Further decorate all of the pieces and then put them together. I saw Henry Lohman mentioned a steampunk locomotive. Well, you can further decorate them, paint the pieces different colors, all sorts of options. Bob Graken asking, showing the tool layout. Oh, on this thing? Yeah, I based this off of how I like things on my workbench. I like having some small screwdrivers up front, so that's what these little holes are for, the small Phillips, the small flat, the awl, the scratch awl. I always have my scratch awl handy, and a couple of other like small files, things there. Some bigger holes for the larger screwdrivers, like the number 1 and 2 Phillips, the number 1 and 2 flat blade. And then getting back here, Bob asked, what are these rectangular holes for? These are for pliers. Your needle nose pliers, your nippers. You put one piece of the handle in each hole there. And you can hold several pieces of pliers in those. Wrenches, these larger rectangular holes are for like adjustable crescent wrenches, larger files, all sorts of stuff. Slipping the handle of a small hammer in there. I should have a picture handy of I've got one of these on my workbench out there, and I got her loaded up pretty good. It holds a lot of tools. I think there's 35 different tool openings, and then some of them can hold multiples. So hopefully that answers your question there, Bob. It was a good question. I should have covered that in the video. I saw Matthew Simpson, aforementioned, mentioning that the NAMM show is coming up. That's the National Association of Music Merchants, their winter NAMM show out there in Anaheim, California. It's a huge, I think the biggest single event in the music industry. We're not heading out this year. We were out there the last couple of years. It's always a good time. I know Chris McKinney of Fungi Mojo, Cigar Box Guitars, is going to be out there. And Lace Pickups, Don Lace and his brother are doing a booth out there focused on the cigar box guitar, because you may not know they came out with a high-end flat Alumitone special cigar box guitar pickup recently in this past year, and all of the builds that they're going to be featuring from some of the best builders. I think Rob Roble might have one in there, Rusty Taylor sending one out. They're all going to have these Lace pickups in them, so that's going to be cool, having CBGs represented so well out there at the NAMM show. Nick found a picture of a live action shot of the tool organizer in action there. You can see you can load her up pretty good. I have a couple of pairs of pliers and nippers hanging off the front there, so I tried to make it versatile so you could figure out how to make it work for you in the best way possible. Yeah, buddy. So I think I covered some of the questions. I'm working on, I'm always working on something. Nights, evenings, weekends, always something clicking around up here in the old brain hole. Here's the next thing, just a sneak peek. A freestanding tool organizer for the top of your bench. This was the very first prototype. It needs some work. There's a few too many holes up here. The tools would be too close together. A couple of the slots didn't match up. I'm going to be fixing that and hopefully have this listed on the market soon. In addition to new amp kits we're working on, going to be expanding our line of necks and fretboards to offer more scale lengths, more woods, more pre-made options ready to go. All made in the USA, right here in the CB Gitty shops. We're not importing these necks from China. We're not farming stuff out. One of my missions is to find a way to do it right, do it here, and make it happen. So we got another song for you here. This is another one out of the new Hobo Fiddle, Legend of the Hobo Fiddle book that I've put together to accompany my Hobo Fiddle instruments, but also as a standalone book. And in here, I recently posted about it on Facebook. There's the story, The Legend of Three Strings Sam, which is a mythical piece of historic fiction that I've written to talk about how a little instrument like this might have been built by a hobo out on the rails back in the 1930s. Another key thing in here that I'm a little bit of trepidation about is a story called The Legend of Old Quarter Hour. Quarter Hour the Hobo, and or the would-be hobo, the one-time hobo, and how that nickname came about and who that nickname might apply to. So yeah, a lot of good stuff in here. Put this back, move the screen over, and we're going to do a song that I wrote the words to and put those words to an older song, the old traditional tune of Wayfarer and Stranger that you might know. A lot of people have recorded that. Well, one of my favorite things, and what I consider a baby step into songwriting, is to take an older traditional tune and put new words to it, because it's easier. And we were talking about this earlier, Glenn, that if you sit down like, I'm going to write a song, having to come up with the tune, trying to make an original tune, and then getting words, original words to fit with it, can be pretty daunting, especially if you're new to it. But taking a tune that exists, by the tune I mean the notes, the melody, da 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 da, taking that and putting new words to it can be a little bit easier. So here's one I've entitled Rolling On. So the tune of Wayfarer and Stranger, and see if you can guess what it's about. Of course, it's about a hobo. Everything I've been writing lately has been about hobos. The wanderlust pulls on my heartstrings. I've got to move
why. For if I stay in one place too long, I start to feel like I might die. That lonesome whistle in the distance is calling me. I can't stay long. One day you'll turn and I'll be missing. You'll call for me, but I'll be gone. Oh, how I've prayed that I could settle, hold down a job and build a life. But that old road just won't release me, won't allow me hold wide. That lonesome whistle in the distance is calling me. I can't stay long. One day you'll turn and I'll be missing. You'll call for me and I'll be ride the rails, so cold and lonely, staring out the boxcar door, rolling everywhere but rolling nowhere. I'm rolling on forevermore. A lonesome whistle in the distance is calling me. I can't stay long. One day you'll turn and I'll be missing. You'll call for me and I'll be gone. You'll call for me and I'll be gone.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. It's a little low for me. I need to think about a different key for it. But I realized with this song to kind of expand upon the songwriting idea or song manipulation, you can take the same words sometimes from one song and sing them to a different tune and really get a different feel. You know, this was kind of like a sad, mournful song, like longing and regret and all of that. Well, if you put it to a happier tune, it can take on a very different feeling. And we were playing around with this earlier. There's an old English, I think it is, a seafaring song called Rolling Home. And it's about sailors, you know, heading back home all happy. So the same words to a happier tune sound like this. I'm trying to remember where it starts. Alright, I got it. Alright, this time for real.
The wanderlust pulls on my heartstrings. I've got to move, I don't know why. For if I stay in one place too long, I start to feel like I might die. That lonesome whistle in the distance is calling me. I can't stay long. For a day you'll turn and miss me. You'll call for me, but I'll be gone.
So the exact same words, but a little bit of different feel. So anyway, just having a little bit of fun with that there. Drop the script again. You know, I had a birthday yesterday. Was that yesterday? Day before yesterday. And I just remembered that because it's getting harder and harder to get all the way down there. Ooh, and to see. My arms aren't long enough anymore. Can't. It's bad. Dano Schultz liking you on the banjo there, Glenn Watt.
Dano. It's fun to play, buddy.
I'm trying to. He says you're a semi-silent partner. I'm trying to find ways to bring him in here, and
Here we are.
somehow today's script ended up a little Ben heavy. So what do you got for us anyway? One other new thing that we've added, part of this line, the name of the company is U Gears. They're actually out of the Ukraine, is where they got started, and they're doing some really innovative kits. The hurdy-gurdy, the steam engine, they got a bunch of others that I'm looking at getting because what? Personally, I'm interested in this kind of stuff.
They're cool?
Yeah, because they're cool. Making things out of, this is an example. This is what they call their fidget line. There's 4 individual, I know it's hard to see, there's 4 individual little laser cut pieces in here, each one a separate thing. This is the vehicle set. There's a little tractor, a little car, a little truck, some other things. 4 different little kits you put together, and they all have gears, and what you end up with, and a keychain ring hole, and it actually moves, and it's kind of like a little, you can turn the gear and it spins. It's like a little fidget thing. Good for kids, but also for adults, like for concentration sometimes. It's good to have something to just kind of fidget with. We got 4 different packs of these, one of which so far I've managed to get listed. But that's the sort of fun stuff. We sent out a newsletter yesterday, and the headline was that my goal is to triple the amount of fun stuff in the catalog this year. I'm hoping to double the total number of kits, but triple the amount of fun.
I like it.
And by God, we're on a good track to that. Ron Thompson asks if we're selling those straps. Which strap do you mean there, Ron Thompson? Glenn's strap.
This is thanks to, and I saw him out there earlier, Dale Janey from North Carolina was kind enough to send this up. So it's been a little while now, but I just want to reiterate my gratitude to Dale Janey for sending this strap up. He did it out of paracord, blue and white.
Paracord. I was trying to remember that
stuff.
word. Yeah, somebody recently sent us. I can't remember who it was though.
People send things.
Rick Ganey? Oh wait, Peter Davis. He wrote it on the back. What a smart guy. Sent us this nice little ornament here. Got one of our cigar box guitar ornaments there, and did some bead work and some tassels. So we keep that hanging. We can take down the railroad lantern now. That was for yesterday's shoot. Did we end up with one of those things from yesterday in today's show, Nick? Me in hobo garb?
Yeah.
It didn't make it into the script, but we were filming some demos yesterday for the hobo fiddles, the first 2 of them that went in the listings, and I got dressed up a little bit and trying to get in character. Why don't you go ahead and run that?
All right.
We got hobo fiddle number 3 right here. Show you what she sounds like.
That freight train come down westbound track. Hey bo, don't catch that freight, they're coming back. Hobo's going away. Gonna ride on that, I'm gonna sing all day. Don't catch that freight, they're coming back. Hobo's going away.
Oh, she got the highball there. She gonna be moving along. Take it on now, boy. There she goes. Yeah, number 3. Ooh, boy, better get on that highball. You're going on down the line. Yes, sir. Our buddy Jim Burt asking about the strings. Yes, they are nylon strings. For Mr. Manhart out there who ordered one, they come with a spare set of strings. The nylon is very forgiving, lasts a long time, but we send along a spare set just to be sure. So Eddie Pascal out there, good to see you, Eddie. Hope you're doing well. Mark Madding, Ron Thompson, gonna get him something after the show. Sold him on it. Not sure what he's talking about, but God bless you, Ron Thompson. We appreciate it. Heck, get two. No, just kidding. What we got next?
I'm telling.
Hard telling, not knowing.
Farley and the Mill Stage.
Yeah, Farley couldn't be with us this week. We're hoping to have her back in the weeks to come. In the meantime, of course, we don't want anybody, going through withdrawals, so we bring her in there. And we've got a video from the not-so-distant past here at CB Gitty of Farley building the mill stage. We're on the Gitty Juke stage right now. The mill stage we were on a couple of weeks ago. You've all seen it. Well, Farley built that, and this is like a time lapse because it took a few days to put it all together. And Farley did most of the work. And you'll notice, especially through the first half of this video, that there's a number of people, myself and other, mostly guys, kind of standing around pointing, gabbing. The whole time, Farley's just hustling, just doing stuff. We're standing around, dreaming and talking. So, hope you enjoy seeing this blast from the past here, the building of the Gitty Mill Stage.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
audio.
we're back.
By the way, we're live.
Got distracted watching the show there. So somebody asked what music that was. That was, I'm trying to remember the name. I think not Lonnie Donegan, a diddly bow player. Man, can't remember. But he was the guy who kind of made the diddly bow kind of have a resurgence back in the 60s and 70s. He played it at a New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival. I not remember the name. Thanks for asking. Michael Capato asked about the dowel maker, the widow maker out there. We had to kind of put her on the back shelf for the holidays, hoping to get back at it. It's close. And he asked if we're going to get into making our own tuners for ukuleles and such. I'd like to look into that, to be honest. Lonnie Pitchford. Thank you, Dano. That's who that was. That was Lonnie Pitchford, everybody. The one-string boogie. Boy, he bailed me out of that one. All right, well, just a reminder that the New Orleans Cigar Box Guitar Festival is coming up next week. I'll be down there on Friday. I don't know. I think Shane and I will make an effort to do a show, maybe not at 2, but from down there. We'll do something. Something will be going on. And we'll be going live and broadcasting and posting all sorts of stuff from New Orleans, so stay around for that. And thanks for watching. I think that's all we got. Fundraiser reminder, just one more plea. There is a GoFundMe fundraiser to help support the New Orleans Festival, to help pay the performers who travel in to be there and to help cover all the expenses. So we're calling on the Cigar Box Guitar community to pitch in a few bucks. All of the people who like seeing these festivals happen, who believe that this sort of thing should happen, you know, we'd appreciate it if you could pitch in. Well, for the outro here, instead of Glenn and I playing the same song that we played at the beginning, we've got another blast from the past. This is a clip of 4 people playing the Gitty Gang theme song. Myself, Glenn, Farley, and special guest David Comtois came up from Massachusetts and jumped on that upright bass, that 2-string gut bucket, and just played the heck out of it. So we're going to sign off for this week, say fairly well. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, like the Cigar Box Nation page here on Facebook. Share this video. We sure appreciate it and hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, build what you play what you love, and if you're having fun, you're doing it right. Thanks, everybody.
But it's the Gitty Gang show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Well, it's the Gitty Gang show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And coming to you live from CBG. Come on there, give us a little something there. It's a Gitty Gang show. Gitty Gang show. It's a Gitty Gang show. Gitty Gang.